I am so happy. The grin I have on my face right now is immaculate. What a chapter. What a series of events. What is going on? I thought last week was one of the best chapters we could have got, but this right here is vile. It's vicious. It's disgusting, and it changes everything. This too is a perfect chapter, and if you had any doubt, if these past couple of months there was something in the back of your head like, Chainsaw Man Part 2 a little bit boring, this will make you all quiet. This will bring you back, and this will have you excited. Also, just reading this without any sort of spoilers or leaks is amazing. Like, I can't say that enough. I'm not a person that reads leaks or spoilers anymore, so being able to experience this at the same time with everybody else, just so excited about everything and trying to figure out bits and pieces, it's incredible. There's nothing like it. The video I released the other day, there was a lot of things on mark, pretty much bullseye, and I'm very excited to talk about everything that this chapter has to offer. So with that, let us begin. Hold on a second, I have a brand new channel. If you enjoy video games and the general discussion of topics and documentation surrounding them, you will absolutely love this. As always, a link will be put in the description, but go and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it, and I'm excited to continue making content for it. Alright, this is a bad situation, arguably one of the worst situations. Things are not looking good, things are progressively getting worse, and now we're kind of self-destructing. And there's a lot of parties involved in this, and a lot of parties that have done a lot of wrong things. Public safety, on one hand, wanted a specific result. They didn't want Denji to turn into Chainsaw Man. He evidently did, and now he's been captured by them once again. Look who it is, it's Yoshida. And he's gonna pass along this very bad news that because Denji turned into Chainsaw Man, they're going to now keep him under supervision, forcefully. Yoshida tries to play that guilt-coyish card. I told you this would happen, you should have listened to me, you should have took my offer, you should have done this, you should have done that. Even now, to this point, you still don't understand what they were trying to avoid. You don't really have the answer, like why did they not want him to turn into Chainsaw Man? Was it because they were trying to avoid a situation like this? Because they didn't want Denji or that power out in the world? But why let him roam freely for so long? Now, if you start to connect the dots, it makes more sense that Yoshida was activated now because Nostradamus' prophecy went into motion. So I still think it's the idea that they don't want the ability of erasing something around the idea of death itself. Very bad combination. If Denji, for whatever reason, were to erase death, you annihilate the human race. But then you also have Fami and Chainsaw Man Church on the other hand trying to activate Denji. And now she wants to use Denji to fight death because obviously very powerful, and she wants to save the human race as well. She loves it, but surely she would obviously know about Denji erasing people, right? So is that why she wants to use war as a controlling point? Do you see how things start to really clarify themselves? At first, public safety and Chainsaw Man Church didn't really have much clarity behind them because the power of what Chainsaw Man is was completely out of their realm of controlling. Now that picture is a lot clearer. Fami knows that Denji can erase death, but she needs either herself or war to be able to control him so he doesn't use it. Strong enough to defeat death, but controlled enough to not erase death. Make sense? Public safety tried to do the opposite. Don't get involved, Dennis. Don't do this, don't do that, you'll be safe. Didn't happen. And now they're locking him away, which we didn't know they had, by the way. A facility, a detention center where devils have never escaped from before, that's incredibly impressive, especially for potentially very powerful devils that they most likely have housed there. And one that instantly comes to mind, Reze. Now that we know that the hybrids are back into this story and we know that they're split between the Chainsaw Man Church and public safety, Reze is guaranteed to be there somewhere. But because they don't want her out in public, maybe because they can't control her or because she's too unpredictable and powerful, of course, you would lock her away within this detention center. This is not a good situation. This is arguably one of the worst situations that Denji can be within. He is being sedated very heavily. When he wakes up, he's been knocked out for a week and Yoshida is playing this blank-faced villainous expression. Deep down, I still kind of want to trust him. I still kind of want to think that he's the one putting Asa in motion and all of these other things in motion, potentially alongside Kishibe trying to undercut public safety, but he's still actively doing these things to Denji. So as he has confidence that his external plan could work with Asa Mitaka, there's not really much giving that he's a good person. He's locked up Denji, he's sedated him, he's the one putting him in prison. And of course, Snake Girl back here once again. The cherry on top, the fan that she is of Chainsaw Man is that of a collector. So if you needed any more proof or any more convincing that she is not the person that she said she was, or just having any sort of faith or expectation, she's a horrible human being, she's a snake, we don't vibe with her. And she will most likely die. Very horribly, I imagine. Before you cut over to a gut-wrenching panel, you get this tiny little page of dialogue of Denji talking to Pochita, and this is Denji trying to convince himself and Pochita that he needs to get up. This is the start of it. I was talking about Denji becoming a monster, being fueled by rage, being fueled by anger, trying to seek Naruto. This is a very different approach of getting into this form when it comes to the full armor Pochita. We're slowly starting to see it. Denji is breaking little by little, and Pochita is there to witness it, all before you're smacked with Denji being literally dissected. He's being cut up by surgeons and doctors that are going to keep him in this prison, in this facility, in probably all different parts. I'd imagine this is because they don't really understand his regeneration ability and not sure how strong or how efficient or how much he can actually regenerate when all of his body pieces are separated. So to keep him under full control, this would probably be the best way to do it. This does not, however, include the idea of full armor Pochita. We already know that that form can generate a whole new body. So if worse comes to worse, there is a way for Denji to get all of his body parts back and resurrect successfully, just in an entirely annihilation type form. There is one guy here though with an eye patch and a scar who seems very competent, very powerful, enough to kind of keep watch over Chainsaw Man. You're gonna put strong fellas to watch over him, but he's the one that gives all this dialogue that this is a devil detention center and that since its founding, no devil has ever escaped this facility. He goes on to explain that it's very secure and that it's constantly guarded 24/7. There's no cracks or ways in or out that can be exploited. The only way that this facility would ever be compromised is a war. So the last panel you get is a pair of legs saying that war can only compromise this building. Going back to the panel of Denji getting his legs cut off and Pochita saying that you can't do anything, you have no legs. It's very beautifully pieced together, so directly and seamless, and this person right here is obviously Asa Mitaka, War, ready to rain hell on this facility and break out Denji. Now the biggest question I have is, how does she know who is pulling the reins behind this curtain? Because it has to be someone with enough knowledge of this facility, enough knowledge to know that Denji would be put here, and enough understanding that war would be enough to break him out. Two people come to mind, Kishibe being one, which is the pretty respectable one, but we've seen nothing from him, but also Yoshida himself. I think Fujimoto has done a great job in setting up what arguably could be one of the most interesting war-fueled finales of this story. And I say finale with quotations because while it does seem like the end, it does seem like the final arc or the final saga or section of this narrative, we just don't really know. I don't know how you top Nostradamus' prophecy and death itself. I don't know how you continue to write something. Do you part it off into a third, or do you just move it on into something else entirely? I would be more than happy, more than comfortable, more than confident to say that this is the final section, arc, saga of the story. Potentially only being like 50 odd chapters, give or take, who knows really. It is Fujimoto though. He's very difficult to pinpoint what he's gonna do next. I'm just putting it out there. I'm hoping that this facility is a monster to get through. We're one step closer to this. Asa wielding war is something that is going to happen eventually. And if it happens here because Denji is in a weakened state, it will benefit not only himself because he'll be able to get out a lot easier, not trying to regenerate or get captured again, or just be in a little Chainsaw Man form, but war can weaponize him fully. But there's another person here, and that is again Reze. I would love to see Reze back into this situation. To be honest, another weapon for war? Imagine the reunion you could have with Denji and Reze, but then also Asa and Yoro on top of it. It's like the conflict of lovers, a conflict of interest. They all have a connection, they all have a bond, but it's very problematic and very all over the place. And now they're all currently connected to the War Horsemen, so it's like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it would be hilarious. And I feel like Fujimoto would do something like this, just to alleviate a lot of that pressure after all of this has happened, because if anything, he is prepping. I don't know what he's about to do. I don't know how crazy or chaotic this war is going to be to compromise this facility, but it has to be big. But I'm also curious what other devils they have in here. Like, I understand building a facility in the first place, but you know, well, we want to build a facility so we can house this devil, and we're confident we can. Like, maybe the gun devil, for example, that'd be interesting, but surely the gun devil is way too powerful. So what parameters do they even have in place? Because it's not guns, it's not like concrete walls and bars. Surely it'd have to be more like devil-like abilities and contracts, right? There is so much going on, so much great here, and I can't just help but smile. Honestly, I might just have to do a separate video talking about more things in detail, shaping up to that point, I think. Welcome to the end of the video. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. Leave a like and subscribe, that'd be nice. Also, check out some of these videos here. The more you watch, the more YouTube recommends me. I like that, YouTube likes that, and you'll probably enjoy the video. So why not? Let me know how you feel about this chapter. Where do you think the story is going to go from here? And with that, I will see you all later.